children who come into Ramana's garden come here because I have determined, by whatever condition life brought them to our gate, that if they didn't come inside and they remained in the street or in the condition they were in, they might not be alive tomorrow morning.
Prabavati Dwabha, founder and creator and director of RAMANA's Garden, a children's orphanage in India, has been serving and living in India for over 34 years. She currently runs the orphanage school called RAMANA's Garden, where children are given a chance for a new life. Here, the poorest and lowest ranking members of the Indian society, who are not given schooling, healthcare, or anything that amounts to a good life, are given a chance to change their life. However, Prabavati Dwabha did not start out looking to be a Mother Teresa. It happened to her through her quest to find her soul and meaning in life. She started her life by looking for stardom in Hollywood, gaining riches and renown. When she had everything and was living in Venice Beach, California, complete with a red sports car and the designer clothing, she found that she was missing meaning in her life. In India, she hoped to find the magic pill. But what she found was greater than that. Her life took on the greatest meaning when she started following her teacher Osho and then started helping others. Where other people might retire, she still works tirelessly to help those that are in need. These children here at RAMANA's Garden are given a dream, a vision, clothing, education, respect, and love. Welcome to Prabavati Dwabha in this exciting interview of how she looked for meaning in life and found herself giving meaning to others. Welcome to Quantum Living Live with Ilona Selke and my super special guest Deva here in Rishikesh. Can you pronounce your name to me, because I never get it right?
Deva Dwabha.
Dwabha.
Means divine chaos.
Divine chaos. And you are a powerhouse of a whirlwind of divine energy on this planet. We are here in the middle of Rishikesh at RAMANA's Garden, which you are running as a single woman show with her assistants, of course, assistant people, teaching untouchable children, which we have already shown you in the intro, how they live and who she supports to get school education so they have a future. Being rag pickers, which means working on trash piles to find the means to support their own life, which probably means making less than $50 a month, is not a human life. And here comes Deva Dwabha, who has had the vision to help create a school and training for children from these backgrounds. She has this place, RAMANA's Gardens, which feeds the Western people. A set plate costs 400 rupiah, which is like $6-7. With, not even, with tea and dessert and soup and salad in the main course, and you help support the place. Now, we need more people who donate money, because the children that come here are being financed through your own efforts. Now, you've gone around the world, but there are two things I want to talk to you today about. One is your school, and I will also show how we used today the book Aline Learns to Use His Imagination, in Hindi simply called Ravi. And we had a beautiful opportunity to inaugurate using the app that just came on the market with your children to do meditations, to go inward. So next question and point of my interview with you is the power of consciousness and how we shift reality from the inside out. And you've done that with people all over the world. Women you shared with me in Turkey, teenagers, at-risk teenagers. So I want to talk about these two subjects. So first of all, can you tell me in few highlights, who are the children that you rescue? I know some of them have been ready or were about to be sold into prostitution.
Basically, when we started, which was never planned, I always wanted to help from the moment I put my foot in India for the first time. But I felt it's so big and the issue of poverty is so huge, and I'm not rich. And what can one person do? But what I now understand and what I teach all over the world and try to inspire in each of my children is pure intention creates the reality. So simply having the intention of, oh my God, I wish I knew how to make a difference. I didn't go out and try to find out. I didn't go to social organizations because I thought I couldn't. And that intention of I wish that I could make a difference started to draw into me. Oh, okay, well, I am able to do that. Okay, I can do that. Oh, you could do this also. Well, yes, I could do this and this and this.
And it just came to
And
you.
it just came and it just unfolded. 1 child, 10 children, 100 children, 1,000 children, 1,800 children, 1 school, 3 schools, 5 schools, 68 schools, 1 emergency med center, 2, 3, 11. It just, I never said, oh, well, I'm going to, go to India and open all that. First of all, I didn't come to India to do any of that. I came to India to polish the diamond of my own being. But these opportunities started to fulfill my wish. I wish I could make a difference. I wish these children were not starving and covered with sores. I wish that woman didn't just lose her baby in breech delivery. Well, why don't you become a midwife? Good point. She won't have to do that. It was like that. As India showed me her need, her gaping wounds, and my desire to change them. Okay, so learn midwifery. Okay, open an NGO. Okay, feed the children. You don't like to see them starving? Feed them. Well, how? I don't know even how to grow a houseplant. My houseplants always died because I was never home. So, okay, learn. There was just this,
One
if you want
thing
to
leads
change,
to the next.
say yes.
Yes.
That's why the website is Say Yes Now. You begin with pure intention.
Yes.
And immediately that will start to draw it in because your pure intention is the pure intention of the universe.
And the universe listens.
The universe is constantly rebirthing itself. No matter how many times you hack this tree, you butcher it, it will send up a tiny shoot. That tiny shoot will grow a leaf. The universe recreates itself every minute.
And we, with our consciousness, help shape, create the blueprints. And what I love about what you just said is because a lot of people, I teach the Living from Vision course worldwide, and I have had Buddhists come and take it, Western Buddhists, and they say like, well, I'm not supposed to have any wishes. And it's like, well, who said you have to have selfish wishes? You can have every kind of wish. A yogi wishes maybe to impart his teachings. Another one wants to help the poor. Whatever your wish is, there's no judgment on it. You can create and realize that who you are is the shaper of the dream through which the light of the universe shines.
Absolutely.
Into creation.
We are just like these bamboo, which are totally hollow. And we get huge storms before the monsoon. And they don't, and it breaks the trees, you can
But
see.
not the bamboo.
But it never breaks the bamboo because the bamboo doesn't have a fixed idea of how it has to stand.
Yep.
Sometimes these will bend and all the way over, and I'm like, oh, it's going to break. It never breaks.
Yay.
And we are not different. The universe is playing through us. Maybe we're standing tall. Maybe we're laid flat on the ground.
But
we're picked up
get that back
again. We don't stay there.
So tell me, I just really want to take this opportunity. I know yesterday we talked privately and you told me some horrific stories about you personally going out rescuing kids from the prostitution rings. Is this something we can cover here?
Initially, when I came to know that mostly from Nepal, at the Nepal border, thousands of girls were being sold across the border every week. They were being loaded into gunny bags and thrown in the backs of lorries and had rice bags thrown on top of them and transported across and then networked through all the way down to Bombay, throughout India. For brothels, for prostitution.
At what age?
Oh, it kept changing, but it kept getting younger and younger. 11, 10. So just knowing that, just hearing that, I was like, no, that's impossible. We have to do something. But again, how? These are big, dangerous networks. They are well guarded, well protected. You know, what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. And I had all Nepali staff at that point. I was already building up the project. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, the Maoists are systematically moving, and they're moving village by village. So they are here, but they aren't here yet. So, okay, let's go here. Mm-hmm. And let's get them out first. So we played this deadly, deadly roulette game of trying to get to a village first, and then gathering the girls, and then sending people with them to pose as their parents, and getting them to the border, and getting them into buses, and getting them home.
And then you would take them into your
then
school.
We bring them here.
And give them a place to stay, give them food, a home,
everything.
And education.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, these girls that we just saw on this film clip would be serving as prostitutes.
Oh, absolutely. There was no doubt at all. That's where they were headed.
I mean, it's a whole big subject, but I just want our audience to know that this is going on. It's not only going on in India, it's going on in America, it's going on everywhere in the world. The way to stop is not to participate in the pornography world and in alcohol, in drugs, in all the things that desensitize our social, ethical censor. Because, and then to start giving kindness to children. And I love seeing them in Bali, you know, the parents, mothers and fathers, they equally raise their children, they hold them on their arms because they are the gold of the future.
Yes.
Because they will provide the food when they're old, and they don't.
It's the same belief through the villages here and in Nepal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they have so many children, one less won't hurt, right?
And it's not always up front that they know where that child is going.
Oh.
They are promised that the child is going for work, and they're going to make big sums of money, and they're going to be nurses, and they're going to be teachers, and boys are going to have good positions. They don't just come and say, I'm taking your child. At that point, during the war, they did. They didn't say a word. They just took them and took them and took them, and even took them from us. Our work was stopped at the point where we had gathered 18 girls, and we were caught. And I had to watch those girls go in those bags and get thrown in the back of a truck. And I couldn't move, or I would have been dead. And they broke the people who were helping us hands, so they couldn't stop them or help me. And I had to watch them go. Wow.
I mean, when being here in front of all of this, to see the little children have all their shoes lined up, sitting in school, learning English, reading in Hindi and reading, and now they're using the power of the imagination to create an internal focus. And so now let's move to the work that you've done. You've taken it even to Turkey. You've worked with adults through work that came to you through a prayer.
It's the same work, whether it's with the children here, at that point I was doing a program, an outreach program, where I got kids that were being challenged strongly in America. And they were coming here with drug problems, with self-abuse problems, with prison problems, out of detention centers, on probation, for hurting themselves or others, mostly themselves. And as the years passed, I did it for 12 years, the self-inflicted wounds became so much greater, particularly cutting. Now, when I first sat in front of a group of 30, and 29 out of the 30 were serious cutters.
That means they inflict wounds on their own.
They cut themselves with razor blades, knives, glass.
Okay.
I didn't know what that was. I'd never heard about it. I'd never seen it. We didn't do it when I was a teenager. So I said, you guys have to help me understand why. And they said, it helps ease the pain. And I said,
what pain?
What pain? The pain of being bullied, the pain of feeling that I have no self-worth, the pain of having been abused, being abused by family, being abused in class, being abused at school. all the emotional, psychological injuries that reached a point that they were unbearable, they felt could be relieved when they actually cut themselves and watched it bleed. But it's temporary, so then they have to cut again. And, sorry.
Oh, so that's when you took them over.
That night, I said, I can't do this because I don't know how to heal that. My whole work from the time I started working as a therapist and doing with the children here is I truly believe we cannot heal unless we can stand in the shoes of the person who sits opposite us. Yeah. We have to walk their walk. We have to feel their insult. We have to feel their abuse to be able to heal it. If we can't do
understand them,
we will not have a way to, because we can't tell anybody how to do anything
unless
they have to discover it in here. So then, how to discover that? And I really prayed, and in the morning I had an idea, and I jumped into the room and I said, I want to make an experiment. Are you with me? And they were like, yeah, well, maybe. And I said, I don't know where this is going to go, but let's try. And what I got was what has grown into the healing tree. I got that within all of us, we are a tree. Our roots go through all the generations and maybe into the cosmos to other galaxies. But I do believe, I do know, this isn't the first time around. And I truly believe that we come in with cellular knowledge of all our roots. So the first step in the game was to find out, who are we? Who are our roots? Who was Mom? What challenge did Mom face? Who was Dad? Many of us have never thought about what did Mom face? If I walked in Mom's shoes when she was 5, when she was 15, when she was 25, when she's 75, what did Mom face? What did her mom face? What did Mom's mom face? Oh, well, they were in the gas chambers. They were in Germany. They were Jewish. Wow. And what are you facing today? Complete lack of value. I don't believe I need to live. Interesting. Could there be a connection? And we started this looking at the roots. We started with, I went to town and I bought meters and meters of white blank fabric. And we hung it up and we got paintbrushes. And I said, we just draw trees any way you feel it. But it must have a trunk. It must have roots. It must have branches that can reach to the heavens and leaves.
So you have the subconscious, the conscious present, and the superconscious reaching into the heavens.
So everybody drew their trees.
Yeah.
Then we started writing on the roots. What did we know was a root? And we could recognize it as a root if we could find any trace of it in our tree. And we could find mamas, grandmamas, indigenous cultures, American Indians, the Jewish people who went to the gas chambers, on and on and on. The Germans who put them there. Everybody could find traces. So we got our root system, but we also have good roots. We have somebody, somewhere, who said you can. The little train that could. Right. I don't know if you had that book. Yeah. Somebody, somewhere, inspired you. Oh, my great aunt was an amazing woman. Yes, draw her root. She used to visit in the summer. She always told me, you can do it.
Yes.
Everyone else said I couldn't. Yes.
She did.
Draw her root. Then from the roots, we look at the trunk, because the trunk is
The
the carriage,
expression,
the body, the form.
the here consciousness.
What did the root of the teacher who said, "You're stupid, you don't get it, go and sit in the back"? Okay, there she is, Miss Pickens. There's her root. And here's Aunt Dorothy, who said, you can do it if you believe you can. So we look. So here comes in my tree the branch that was Mrs. Pickens.
Weak.
And it's weak. It breaks when the wind blows. The leaves aren't strong. It never bears fruit. Then we have Mrs. Pickens' branch. Aunt Dorothy's branch. Here we have many leaves, and we have even flowers, and even fruit. So then we draw our whole tree. And we look at the branches that aren't doing well. We look at the branch that grew from Mrs. Pickens' daily abuse. And we then visit her in our imagination.
And
we
then
go and we find out, why was she so cross? Why did she want to hit the children in the school? Why do we suppose? What do we suppose Mrs. Pickens needed? And we always find it.
And, for example?
And we do an imagination of giving her that. We see her getting that love. We see the drunken husband who beats the kids at home not doing that anymore. We see the family whole and happy. We see her coming into the classroom not with her cane, but with cookies.
Yeah.
Or whatever it takes.
And we create a new past in our imagination
for the root that was feeding us negativity.
And now becomes...
Then we look at the branch and we see that the leaves on that branch are all turning yellow and they're falling down. And now they're on the earth and they're composting away. And a new shoot, a shoot of wholeness, a shoot of the Miss Pickens who wants you to learn, who wants to help learning be fun, who doesn't think that only punishment and abuse will make you, begins to grow. And on that branch, new leaves come. And what are those new leaves? We have to name everything. So the leaf of self-confidence grows. The leaf of love grows. So the whole tree was painted one way, and as we work on our stories, the leaves change. They fall, new leaves grow, and then the ultimate questioning is, what would be the flowering of this tree?
Exactly.
So the flowering would be consciousness, but not everyone wishes for consciousness.
Some
not when
people,
you're 18
no.
or 16.
Could be the beautiful girlfriend.
I want to be loved. I want to be accepted.
Yep.
I want to be
powerful.
Not fat. I want to be beautiful. I want to, whatever it is. So, again, we go back to the magic tree, because any wish that we truly hold in front of the magic tree will be fulfilled. So they offer up their wishes to the magic tree, and then we paint a second painting. How would it look?
And so you create a new hologram, but you've understood the roots, you've said what you really want. What would you look if you had what you really wanted in an expression?
Exactly.
And that's exactly what the children's book is about, and that's why I feel like it's magic, God at work, really.
It is
bringing
magic.
This children's technique into your classroom, because it's totally in resonance with what you teach. And you've seen the results. You've worked with at-risk kids. Tell me, there's two stories that I remember from yesterday, from the Turkish woman.
It turned out Spanish.
Okay. And teenager.
Okay, well, I would do the teenagers first.
Okay, do
since
that.
They're the ones who help this. So the whole process started evolving. How do we let go of? Because there were always those who said, no, I will never forget, I will never forgive them.
Never,
They
ever.
did this and this and this, and they ruined my life, and it's all their fault. Wow. Okay, so how do we bring that to the wish tree? We honor it, first of all. We honor it.
Yes.
It happened. Whether you've imagined it or not doesn't make a bit of difference to me. We honor your story
Yeah.
as it is. We don't judge it. We don't tell you, oh, well, you know,
should be
you have to
better.
get over that.
Yep.
You have to forgive them.
Yep.
And you have to do this. No.
No.
We honor what happened.
And that allows space to become aware. Then the space opens to the next level.
So we had a young man who absolutely refused to forgive a father who had picked up an aquarium in an angry, he was beating the mother, and the boy at 9 tried to stop him, and he picked up the fish aquarium and broke it on his head and disfigured him. So the rest of his life dealt with being disfigured, being bullied, being an outcast, feeling that he was worthless, getting in trouble, getting in reform school, it just snowballed. And for him, every breath he took was hate and resentment for that father. So giving that voice and giving that validity and telling the tale, because we've got 30, and letting each and every one respond as they want to, with hugs, with caring, with, but we don't find you ugly, and meaning it.
Right.
We find you, we're so glad you're in this group. You're such a pioneer. You help us have courage, whatever it is. Building the reality here and now. We have
From
all
the
this
emotional,
stuff.
right.
But the
Helping it.
reality is today, here, are you in danger? No. Are you loved? Look around. Don't answer. Look in the eyes. Yeah. Are you accepted? Don't answer. Look around. Yeah. Are you beautiful? Yeah. Look around. People are hugging. People are crying. People are saying how grateful they are that he's in the class. All good. But he still refused to forgive. He went that far, but he wouldn't do the step. Fine. We've already healed
So much.
so much. And then the final step